I realized from that point, I have increased my finances. I've also traveled the world for 10 months for free. I've also become a better life coach and I look better also. I started studying. I'm away from poor people now. I'm away from gamblers. I never gamble anymore. I realized I never have to gamble on the sports anymore to make some money. I never have to rely on money to make my life. I never have to rely on money to increase my skills. I never have to be around money. I never have to be around millionaires who have money. I just have to be around people who have skills to teach me, who are really successful. I realized that no matter what, when you have a really successful person, I promise you that person can teach you as long as they're teaching it. I promise you there are many successful people such as Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo who will never teach you how to score goals and how to play soccer. I promise you no matter what, I promise you they'll go around just kicking the ball around and scoring goals for themselves. I promise you they'll never communicate. I promise you they've already communicated that in a way that you can watch them and what they're doing. I promise you they've never given you the tactics around it. I promise you it's easy to watch someone walking around the street. I realize that is Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. I realize they're just walking on the street. I realize they're just doing it. I realize I can go and do the same thing. I realize it's a tactic. I realize it's the tactic and never the tax. I realize you never give money for tax. I realize it's really the tactics behind the strategies of how they think about the game. I love that. I realize no matter what, when you're speaking about the game and when you're coaching people about the game, I realize that's a real soccer knowledge. I realize that people do that in commentary. I realize that people in commentary are teaching me more than the soccer players on the field. I have to understand no matter what, that you're a person teaching in life. I need you to teach for free. I need you to realize that now I realize how I lived. I realize how I went from that age where I started to worry about money because of my biological dad to the point where I had to go and do drugs and be a slave because my biological dad is a slave to drugs and alcohol. I started to drink and follow him. I started to emulate my biological dad as the man who I would love to be. I realized I started to challenge my biological dad. I realized that person who is my biological dad ripped me apart with his habits. I promise you, he never said a thing about anything bad about him. I promise you, he never once spoke bad about himself, about how his habits I promise you, he never spoke bad about himself in a way that he would never damage himself in a way to take ownership of his habits. I promise you, he was never the person to take ownership of who is. I promise you, my biological dad was never the person to take ownership of who he is to better his life. I promise you, he never said anything about that. I promise you, he was never ready to even say anything. I promise you, even today, he's never ready to say anything about how bad he's doing in life. I promise you, he's very afraid to say that he's scared to lift. I promise you, he's so ignorant to go and study something that he never studies and just watches the news all day long and gets all this fear into him. I promise you, he has no gahunas to even lift himself. I promise you, no matter what, that I started to believe in this person. I promise you, the person just never even spoke anything unlawful about what he was doing. I promise you that my biological dad is unlawful. I promise you that when you increase your vitality, you'll increase your exposure of how bad you're doing in life. I realized that my biological dad just never was that person. I realized that my biological mother is also never that person. I promise you that both will never take ownership about their life. I promise you they'll never take responsibility about their life. I promise you they get fed government handouts. I realize it's never really about the government handouts in the first place. I realize it's really about you with yourself. I realize I receive government. I realize I receive money from outside circumstances so I can live. I realize I rather receive the money than work for it. I need you to understand that you never be ashamed for receiving government handouts. I need you to see that I've been receiving it all along. I need you also to realize that it's really about freedom. I realize it's more about freedom than working for the money. I'll never work for the money. I realize that it's more that my biological parents will never own up to themselves that they need to better themselves for their child and for them and for something bigger than them. I realize it's more that they lack skills to grow. I realize they just never admit it to themselves. I realize they go into denial about it. I realize that no matter who that person up on the board is that I watch at, I realize it's my biological dad. I realize no matter how good he is in singing, I promise you he never taught me how to sing in his lifetime. I promise you he just went out there to sing. I never care about your singing. I promise you no matter what. I promise you that he just went to sing. I promise you he never really taught anybody how to sing. I promise you he never wrote a book on it. I promise you he never made any business around it. I promise you he just made a CD around it. I promise you he made a CD of his singing. I promise you he never really taught the vocalities. I promise you he never really put himself on camera to show everybody how he can sing. I mean, he did in a way that he was singing only. I realize that's a bunch of bullshit. I never care about that. I realize that's just for him. I realize when you're teaching people how to sing and you're singing so that other people can hear how you're singing in a way so you can teach them, I realize now it's for something bigger. I realize that my biological dad never was doing that. I realize that my mum never ever works a 9 to 5 anymore. I realize that's an excellent trait. I realize that she already has tenants. I realize that she had to marry someone for that house. I realize I just have to own up to that. And I realize no matter what that she would be embarrassed by that. I need you to understand why. I need you to understand she never takes responsibility about what I say. I need you to realize that I just attacked her for some reason. I never did. I never did attack her. I realized that she'd become a victim for that. I realized that she'd be a victim because she married someone to have a house. I realized that she would say, "Shut the fuck up, I never need you to say anything about that." I understand because she never takes responsibility for the woman she is. I need you to understand that. I need you to understand when she is never ashamed about it, I promise you that she'll lift from it. I promise you that she'll say something much better than that. I promise you she'll say, "I had to marry him because I loved him." I realize that she'll never say, "Shut the fuck up," and never say anything. I realize she's ashamed about it. I realize she really, let's say, is a person who just never takes ownership to grow as a leader. I promise you that she grows in some other fashion. I promise you she just, let's say, I promise you that she never grows. I promise you she's always never taken responsibility. I promise you there is some level of growth. I can promise you that she's only just dying in life. I realize that my biological parents are just dying. I realize they still need me to go work the 9 to 5. I realize they need me to work the 9 to 5 for their selfish interests. I realize they need me to work the 9 to 5 for their selfish interests. I realize because they believe they know something. I realize they believe they know something because of my age, and they believe they're older to say what goes. You have to realize that you never be older. You never be older in life. I need you to realize that you never be older in life. You be a person who is 100 years young and still learning from a child. I need you to learn from a child. I realize that my biological parents will never learn from me. I promise you. I promise you that they are the last people on earth who would sit on a chair to learn from their son. I never need those people in my life. I never need to teach those people anything. I never care about them. I promise you, I have lost 47 kilos. I promise you, my mother is the last person who needs to lose weight with me. I promise you, she's overweight. I promise you, my biological mother is overweight. I promise you, my mother and my father, who is my heavenly father and mother, is different. I need you to realize that when I plaster a photo that I've lost 47 kilos and nobody approaches me for help, I promise you, you guys never even deserved it. I promise you, I did something better in that time. I never care about you people. I realize that nobody even comes for my help. I realize nobody messages me. I realize that everybody knows everything. I realize that they are negative. I realize they know everything. I realize they're stupid. I realize no matter what, that people argue with me also when I speak with them in a video chat and about my life and how I live my life. I realize they always know better than me. I realize I shut the fuck up. I just fucking ask them questions now. I promise you, I never fucking need to argue with them about what I do. I just fucking go and do it. I realize I have more success than them. I see that they see that I have more success. I promise you, they fucking speak louder than me in a conversation. I promise you, they just go fucking over me and what I said and never fucking listen. I promise you, I never need those people in my life. I promise you that it's much better for you to just listen to me in this video in a way that I never need to have dialogue with you, because that way I can really teach you something when you're really dedicated to listen. I promise you, those people who just shut the fuck up, I promise you, those people who shut the fuck up and just hear the words out, I promise you, you have a better idea about where I'm going in life than you fucking talking over me. I promise you that when people are talking over you, they're never fucking listening to you. I promise you, they're never fucking listening to you. I never apologize for the way I speak. I only grow from what I say. I really say that no matter what, you can always swear in your own videos and in your own content, and when you're speaking, you can always swear. I promise I just am a person who just grows. I realize I have a friend who just fucking talks over me. I realize that guy is always fucking talking everything over me. I never care, mate. I'll just say, I realize what you're doing. I never care, bro. I do this. I do this. I just go this way. I just say that. I realize when they ask me why, I just say for this and this. I realize they never even ask me any more questions. I realize they're really monkey-minded. I realize they're people who are slow-minded. I realize they have no skills. I realize people who are slow-minded never grow. I need you to have a fast mind. I need you to really be fast in communication. I need you to really pick up skills. I need you to really elaborate about what you're saying. I need you to realize that those people who can go 4 hours and speak in a camera, such as this or anywhere, are able to really elaborate more. Realize that they are the people who can really amplify people. You need to be a person who's really growing and outgrowing everybody else around you with free content. You need to do it for free. You never do it for money. You never do it for money, because when you do it for money, you'll get scammed. I never need you to be scammed. I never need you to go and give $5,000 for some fucking idiot who can do public speaking better than you to teach you how to do public speaking, because you'll fucking get scammed for it. I realize that no matter what, all you need is a fucking journal. I realize all you need is to do it on your own, and you just keep writing. And you just keep writing. You need to realize when you're speaking and with I, you just keep it going. You just have to keep giving knowledge anyway. You keep your eye going anyway. You never have to worry about life. You just have to realize that you put your you in action with the I always. You just need to be able to always grow from what you're saying. You need to be a public speaker in a way that you can just speak and pronounce the words that you're saying in a different manner or every single time. You have to pronounce your words in a different manner every single time so you can grow. You need to realize that the coronavirus today never impacts me because I work for free. I promise that people are unemployed. I promise you in March 2020, as Grant Cardone said, that 40 million people have been unemployed and fired from their jobs. I promise you that you never have to be unemployed and you never have to be working for money and working a 9-to-5 job to be fired. I promise you that you never fire yourself. I promise you that I am one of those people that never gets fired. I'm my own boss. I just work for me. I work for God. I work for God. I never even work for me anymore. I work for freedom. I work for freedom. I never work for me. I work for freedom. I work for something bigger than myself. I work for God. I just say God. I work for God. I realize God is freedom. I used to realize that those people who are working for money are always going to be slaves for money. I realized that no matter what, you take ownership, and you never be my biological dad and mum who need you, for example, to go to a 9-to-5 job, or for example, that you say to your kids, I never need you to say to your kids that they go to a 9-to-5 job. I speak against the 9-to-5 job. I say I need to work 24/7. I'm an entrepreneur. I can fucking work anywhere. I promise you that those people who are flexible can work at any time. I used to work at any time. I never need you to say, I just finished work. I realize that's fucking stupid. I realize I stay away from those people. I realize no matter what that those people are stupid. I just stay away from them. I never need you to finish work. I need your work to keep going for the rest of your life. I need you to fucking work and sleep. I need you to be dreaming and working. I need you to be dreaming and working how you're going to make that vision come true. I promise you that it's a much better dream than having to do anything else. I need you to ask better questions. I need you to realize that a freedom world is a much better world when it's driven without money. I need you to realize that you take pauses in your communication. I need you to realize that you have time, that you have all the money in the world when you're working for free. I never worry about money. I have freedom already. I realize that people are slaves for money. I realize they need freedom. I realize they're working for money and they need freedom. I realize that you can never have one or the other. You can never have money and freedom. You can only have freedom. I promise you. You can never have money and freedom. You can only choose one. I rather have freedom. I rather go the freedom road. I never care about money anymore. I'm free already. I'm already free. I promise you that I have money. I promise you that I have no time. I promise you that I have no troubles. I promise you that I have money though. I promise you they're stuck in one spot because they have money. I have freedom. I have fucking time. I have fucking money. I can travel now as well. I have fucking freedom. I created more time. I realized that I just fucking stopped the 9-to-5. I never have to fucking work 40 hours a week anymore. I never have to fucking work 40 hours a week. I have 40 hours a week of free time. I'm more free. I just created freedom. I realized that others would say, I swear the other guy told me that I have to go and work for money. I realized that you were lied to. I need you to understand that my biological dad fucking took me to a TAB for fucking a certain amount of time and taught me fucking shit about money. I realized that my fucking biological dad for 13 years fucking led me in a different direction. I need you to understand that. I never need your sympathy. I never need you to feel sorry for anybody. I need you to lift up now. I can never get that time back. I fucking learned something. I learned something. I fucking made the time back too. I made the fucking time back. I became vegan. I took myself into education. I started to really elaborate about how I can become vegan more and more. I started to plan in my journal. I realized my journal is everything. I realized no matter what, when I plan, I realize I fucking plan. I fucking plan ahead. I plan ahead of fucking Elon Musk in life. I plan ahead of everybody. I'm too good. I have my journal. I'm always growing. I'm always doing something. I realize in my journal I can do anything. I can write lists down. I can write about the crowd that I grew up with. I can write about my dad. I can write about my mum. I can write about where I love to go. I can write my goals. I can write my anything. I can just become more aware. I can teach something in my journal. I can teach you something in my journal. I just show you anyway every single day. I show you something about my journal every single day. I have a newsletter. I have fucking 40 newsletters every fucking month. I just fucking post them. I realize that sometimes I may have 30, I may have 40, I may have 50 newsletters. I may have 60. I may be doing 2 journals a day. I may be doing 3. I may be doing 4 in one day. I may be doing 2 in another. I realize it just depends. I may write 24,000 characters in one day. I may write 6,000 in another one. I may write 12,000 in another one. I may write fucking 30,000 in another one. I may write 100,000 characters. I realize I just fucking write it. I need you to go and read it now. I realize that's my fucking ebook. I realize that's my fucking printed book. I realize that's my fucking everything. I need you to go and get the ideas now. I fucking wrote the value so that I can help myself grow. I need you to fucking grow from my ideas now. I did it for fucking free. I never fucking scammed you. I'm fucking doing better than yesterday. I need you to see the results. I realize that people are... I don't know what the fuck you're looking at. I fucking lost weight. I'm a vegan. I'm sober. I fucking have a better Instagram than most people in life. I'm doing fucking better than most millennials in life. I promise you. I'm fucking doing the best in the world. I'll just say it now. I'm fucking doing the best in the world. I'm better than everybody. I'll just say it. I believe it. I need you to understand that you also need to increase your skills. You also need to increase your vitality and longevity. You need to be a person who's far outgrowing everybody else. I never need you to have excuses. I never need you to be an excuse. I never need you to complain. I need you to never go against the justice system. I never need you to do illegal matters. I need you to do everything for free. I never need you to do it for money. I realize that when you're doing it for money, you always go down. I promise you that those people who work for money are pinned down. I realize that ego has everything to do with money. I realize that money is ego. I realize money is ego. I realize I receive money. I only receive it. I only receive it. I realize this world is ego. I realize this world is ego. I live in an egotistical world. I fucking do nothing for this world. I do it for something bigger than this world. I do it for growth. I do it for something amazing. I realize this whole fucking couch is ego. I realize everything is fucking ego. I realize fucking flesh is ego. I realize flesh is ego. I realize teeth is ego. I realize fucking fingernails is ego. I realize everything is fucking ego in this world. I never fucking work for the ego. I never work for the money. I work for something bigger. I work for God. I just say I work for God. I do it for free. I work for freedom. I realize the freedom in God. I realize the freedom is God. I realize the freedom. I say I work for freedom. I'm a freedom fighter. I work for God. I fight for God. I work for something bigger of this world. I work for something bigger. I never work for money. I realize that money is a scam. I realize everything else is a scam in this world. I realize that God will never scam you. I realize that anything that anybody has had in success has done it for free. I promise you they've never done it for money. I promise you the most successful people on the planet have worked it for free. I promise you that Selena Gomez, I promise you she done everything for free. I promise you she does it for free. I promise you that woman fucking attracts freedom. I promise you she has freedom. I promise you she has half the fucking Instagrammers following her. I promise you she's doing it for free. I promise you Cristiano Ronaldo has all these fucking followers. I promise you that guy's working for money. I realize it's a fucking big scam. I realize no matter what, you have to realize you work for free. I need you to work for free. I never need you to do anything else. I need you to understand that Kim Kardashian has most followings in life. I realize she has a reality TV show. I realize that's on fucking every TV show in America and the world for fucking free. I realize she's doing it for free. I realize when they jump on, they fucking just pull on Kim Kardashian. I realize they're watching it for free. I realize she's got the attention for free. I understand. I understand why she's so popular. I realize she's popular because she does it for freedom. I realize no matter what, when you sell your fucking business for money, such as Kylie Jenner, I realize that you fucking lost already. I realize she's lost. I realize no matter what, she fucking sold her business for 600 million. I realize she owns 51% of the company. I realize she fucking done it for money. I realize she never done it for freedom. I realize once she done that was really the fucking most degrading moment of her life. I promise you. I can feel it. I realized with that money, she has nothing. I promise you, she has $600 million somewhere in the bank. I promise you, she's doing nothing with it. I promise you, she's doing nothing with it now. I need to ask you, what the fuck she'll do with that money? I realize that you ladies out there, I'll have to ask you, what the fuck will they do with the money? I realize no matter what, I'm always a nice guy. I have to ask you again, what will they do with the money? I'm a nice guy. I realize no matter what, I never make mistakes. I can answer my questions much better. I realize that she will leave her money inside the bank. I realize she'll put her money in the bank and it will just fucking rot. I realize it'll just be there. I realize she'll gain some attention. I realize she'll gain some attention that she sold the business for this much. I realize she's already made more money than most entrepreneurs and people on the planet. I realize she sold the business for probably in the 1% range of money. I realize she just sold her soul to the devil. I realize all the attention she ever got was that she sold her soul to the devil. I realize now she just is screwing herself. I promise you that now that person's going to ask for even more money for her to get her business. I promise you she has to go and find herself a new business now. I promise you that since she sold it for money, I realized that she never did it for the money. I realized that she always did it for money. I realized that she never really did it for God. I realized that she made this beautiful, massive business. I realized that Kylie Jenner did it really for the money. I realized that still, no matter what, I realized she owns 51% of the company. I promise you now that she can still do it for free. I realize she can still do it for free. I realize that she's just losing it in life. I realize that money will never go into heaven. I need you to realize that you never sell your business for money. I never need you to be a person who sells your business. I never need you to sell your business and your company and what you have for free. I never need you to sell your courses for free. I promise you that people are going to come toward me. I realize they're going to say, I need to have you and your information for free. I realize I'll just give it for them for free. I realize they're going to give me money to buy me out. I realize people are going to give me money to buy me out for what I do because I give a fucking better deal than them in life. I realize that people are going to be fucking throwing money at me to buy my business out. I realize people are going to say, how much do you need for your business? I'll give you that much money. I'll say no. I'll say, I don't care about your money. I do it for free. I'll never sell my company. I promise that person has to shoot me for me to make $1 trillion on my business. I realize it's never about that. I realize I'll receive the money for free. I'll just fucking walk away. I never care about you. I never care about you. I never sell my business. I need it freely. I never need you to ask for something in return. I realize that many people will give money towards you so they have something in return from you. I realize they'll make you a slave. I never need you to be a slave. I never need you to watch pornography because I need you to ask the question, how can I help pornographers? How can I help pornographers to live a better life? I need you to figure out some I need you to figure out some tactics and never a taxi. I need you to also get a taxi when you need it. I need you to figure out some tactics in order to never be tempted to watch pornography because that's what you can teach in translation of sexual transmutation, as Napoleon Hill said, that you can transmute your energy into a video about how to never watch pornography. I promise you if you need to watch pornography, I promise you that you may as well create a video in that time and teach people how to stay away from pornography in the time length of all your life. I promise you, each time you have a temptation to watch pornography, you make a 1-hour video about how to never watch pornography. I promise you, you also do the same for masturbation. I promise you, every single temptation you have to do a drug, you make a video about how to never do a drug. I promise you, you have to solidify it more and more in order for you to never do drugs and for you to never do masturbation and pornography. I promise you that you have to make 100 courses about it. I promise you that you can make 30 courses for every time, I promise you that you can make 30 courses for every temptation you have in life. I promise you that you may never have a temptation in your life. I promise you when you have a temptation, you can make as many courses as you can for that subject about how to never have a temptation about pornography. I realize when you grab a temptation for pornography and to watch it, you just go and make a 1 hour video, how to never have a temptation part 1. I realize then you just go part 2, I realize you go part 3, and you just make them all 1 hour each. I promise you, you'll find a way to never watch pornography again. I promise you, just take some dedication. I promise you, just take some effort. I promise you that you'll be free from the slavery of porn and masturbation and any drug that you're doing. I realize that all you have to do is just, each time you have a temptation to smoke cigarettes or drink alcohol or be around the crowd, you just go and create how to never be around the crowd. You go and create about how to never do smoking. You also name them. You name it part 1, you name it part 2, and then you can, I realize, and then you can make it a 30-day challenge about how to ultimately stay away from cigarettes and whatever it is that's negative in your life. I realize that you just come up with the ideas on the spot. You just start to really speak. You start to obliterate in a way that's better, that's really going to elaborate all the communication signals and levels of destiny in your life to really outperform everybody. You need to outperform. You need to realize that outperformance is something that you're going to really do incredible. You need to outperform yourself every single day. You need to always lift yourself every single day in a way that's always going to lift you. You need to lift yourself in a way that can be, you can do a metaphor. You can say that the Japanese star and Satoshi from Bitcoin is going to also realize that no matter what, they're going down, because the cryptocurrency in the world of pigeons and eagles, where snakes are involved in Australia, because no matter what, you have a geography system and you have the central nervous system in the body where muscles can be shown, and you can always show the teeth in terms of the crocodile teeth, and you have human teeth, and also you have the gorilla teeth in terms of no matter what, you can see the fur in terms of the cat and dog. You then realize that you just open people into a new imagination. You have to realize that's a metaphor. You have to realize that those people who are really living life and doing it for free are always going to lift themselves higher than those people who are never living life. I realize that women are never the problem. You have to realize that you have to teach women how to get guys. You have to go teach women and yourself how to just grow instead. You never worry about women. You never think about women. You never be cocky to say, hey, I have to go see someone else because my video is over here. You have to go and do your video, and who cares about who's posting YouTube videos when you're doing a video yourself? You have to be in the moment and focus on yourself when other people are showing you notifications that they message you. I say, who cares about them? You need to realize that you go and care about yourself only and do it only for God. You need to realize you do it for God. You never do it for money. You never do it for other people. You never do it for your family. You never get worried about money such as my biological dad taught me. You never get worried about money such as my mum taught me in terms of my biological mum. I do it for God. I realize no matter what, that when you have a problem with women, you also have a problem with your self-education, and you need to teach how to lift yourself above and beyond so that you can help yourself in life. You need to realize that it's never really about women anymore. It's really about self-education now. You have to realize it's more about how can I become sexier as a person so that I can attract women now. I realize that when you have women in mind, you have to go and speak about what is on your mind about women. You have to realize that it's more the nature of you need to grow instead of have women in your life. I mean, you need to have women in your life. You just have to grow with women. You just never need to have sex with them, although you can just grow with them and they may have sex with you. You have to realize that the ultimate sales point is really growing women and men all alike. You need to realize that just because some guy has some big six-pack and some bigger dick than you, never means that that guy is smarter than you. I promise you that you can probably teach him and lift him more than he can you. I promise you. I promise you, no matter what, I can lift anybody in this world and I can be lifted by others. I promise you that anybody who has an idea can lift me. I promise you it's also the other way around. I promise you that I never get intimidated by power couples anymore. I realize that they deserve each other. I realize no matter what, I have to teach more people how to do that. I realize no matter what, when you have women in mind and how sexy they are, I need you to realize that you grow with them now. I need you to grow with the woman. I need you to go and grow with them. I never need you to chase them. I need you to grow with them. I need you to realize that it's never about the woman. I need you to realize it's about growing in society and the world so that you can become the best fucking version of yourself. I hope that you women realize also that it's the same as it is for men. I need you to realize when you're chasing men that you never chase the men. I need you to go and grow with the men. I never mean sex. I mean grow with them while you're having sex. I realize no matter what, you need to realize that growth is important. I never need you to do anything with anybody except for growth. I need you to realize when you start wasting time and you start doing a piglet in yourself, I realize when you start becoming a couch potato, I need you to start getting a video out. I need you to start growth coaching people. I need you to start really coaching people on how to never be you have to start teaching people how to never be a couch potato anymore. You have to start teaching people how to never have junk food in life. You need to go find some ways in order to grow your business. You have to realize that any negativity you have, you go and put into content and you realize what's positive about it. You have to find some positivity and solve your negativity that you have. You may have some junk food about how to trash women. You never trash women in the first place. You never speak bad about anybody. You never go and cause drama. You may have women speaking about you. You let them speak about you. You have to realize that when people are loving you, you have to love yourself even more. You never rely on people's love either. You have to realize when you get attention, you have to increase it. You never just get attention, you start growing in the process. I realize no matter what, that you're always lifting yourself, you're always doing something incredible, you're always doing something to enjoy. You never just check out the woman, you grow as you check her out. You have to realize that no matter what, you're growing. You have to do something that's growing, that's lifting you. You have to realize, for example, no matter what you're doing, you have to really, really enjoy your life. You have to enjoy your life in a way that's really going to uplift you. I promise you that you never masturbate to a woman. You have to learn how to never masturbate to a woman. I promise you that it's more the other way around also with women, with men. You have to ask yourself questions. You have to say, instead of being around these idiots, how can I better my life so I never have to be around idiots? You have to realize that when you're going around on social media and looking for women, you have to look for them in order to grow your business and never to have sex to waste time. And it goes same for the woman. You never go on social media to search for a man to have sex with him. You go and build up your business so that more guys are chasing you. You have to realize when it's a game between chasing, you have to realize that it's really the game of growth and it's never really about the chasing. You have to start becoming more mature now. You never chase in the first place. I realize that when you're growing up, you start chasing women. I realize it's a immature aspect of life. I realize that women are chasing men. I realize that men are chasing women. I realize that is the teenage life. I realize it's a boyhood and girlhood dream. I realize you start going around the woman to hang around the woman because it's a woman. I realize you go around the man to hang around the man because it's a man. I realize that's the teenage stuff. I realize that's puberty. I realize that's immaturity. I realize now in your 20s, you're really going around people to start connecting and growing instead. I realize you're going around women and men alike so that you can grow together, really. I need you to start doing that in the teenage years. I never need you to go around women and men to just be around women and men. I need you to go around women and men so you can grow the women and men that you hang around with. I need you to realize that you just keep growing as they fall jealous into you. Realize that the more jealous they are, you'll find some better friends. I had to move away from the crowd that is jealous of me because they all need to kill me. I speak my mind so much, they hate me. I never care about those people. I'm so successful and they hate me. I realize it's just jealousy. I realize when you're lifting up, you'll never be jealous in the first place. I realize those people are fucking caveman and woman people. I never care about them. I never wait for them either. I never wait for anybody. I realize when women are chasing you, I realize no matter what, that you just keep growing. I realize that you never just go chasing them because they're chasing you. I realize when women are chasing you, I realize it's really that they are immature doing it. You need to realize that you have gained some crushes. You just need to start being more of a man and a woman to realize no matter what, when women and men are chasing you, you're doing something better than them. You're really increasing your vibe. You have people talking about you that women and men are chasing you. You need to have more of that vibe. You never go chasing them. You never go to them at all. You realize that you're already more important. You realize that when they're chasing you, that you're already worth more. You have more in your tank. You have more in your drive. You have more in your excellence. You have more in who you are. You have more in God always. I need you to go to God. You have to realize that many women have crushed on me. And guess what? I just fucking go the other way. I never need them. I've also crushed on many women. I realize they fucking run away from me. I realize now, it's never really chasing. That's really the point. I realize the point is really how never to chase. I really never chase anything except for God. I realize no matter what, I never need to chase God. I already have God. I just do it for free now. I realize I never chase anything. I just go and really just work freedom. I just do freedom. I realize no matter what, that's even chasing freedom. I chase freedom. I work for free. I chase to work for free. I'm just working for free now. I need you to realize that you never chase in the first place. I never need you to chase for anything. I never need you to chase God. I never need you to chase anything. I need you to realize you just go to God. You just go to God. You just go work for God. You realize that when women and immature people are around you, you're going to be degraded. You're going to be degraded. I never need you to be degraded. I never need you to be around teenage people when you're 20. I never need you to be around age 20 people when you are 30. I never need you to be around age 30 people when you're 40. I need you to be in your range zone. I need you to go find people who are in your age group. Whereas when you hit 30, I need you to be around 30 years of people. I need you to be in that age group. I need you to go and get a woman in that age group. I need you to realize, no matter what, that you just be and mingle and mix with people who are in your age group and who can grow you only. I never care about people who go for women who are 20 years younger than them. I never care about that. I realize when a woman loves you and you're both growing, I realize that the age never really matters. I realize no matter what, that you make sense of everything. I realize no matter what, there is always a law that states that you are free to do anything in life. I realize no matter what, that you have to realize there are so many stupid acts going on today, such as men going for little girls. I realize the girl doesn't know what she's doing. I realize no matter what, to a certain degree, she may be taught otherwise. I realize I don't know what's happening there. I realize the guy's 60 years old. I realize the guy's 60 in age. I realize he's going for a 13-year-old lady. I don't know what's happening there. I will never do that. I will never do that. And you should understand that. I never know what's right or wrong. I realize that no matter what, it's a free world. I realize it's a free world. I will just never do that. I have no judgment. I have free will. I just go my way. I never fucking cause drama around it. I never fucking cause negativity around it. I never fucking blame the person for going for a woman who is 13 years of age. I never blame them. I never blame them. I never care in the first place. I just go and fucking live the world. I fucking seen it. I just fucking grow. I don't care. I wish you two the fucking best. I don't fucking care. I'm not there to fucking deny it. I accept it. I just fucking go my way. I never care. I realize it's not my fucking issue. I have no fucking issues in life. I don't fucking make an issue. I don't fucking make an issue of it. I don't fucking go there saying that you're fucking old. I don't fucking say to someone that you're old. You can never fucking go for this woman. I don't fucking give any other one. I don't give fucking other people laws about what they can fucking do and never. I never fucking make a law in front of their face that you can never go for this person. I don't fucking do that. I realize it's a fucking free world. I never care about them. I just will never do that. You fucking go and mind your own fucking business. I say. I realize it's that fucking simple. I realize the more you're fucking in his face, you realize you want to kill that you realize you want to kill the person. You're getting into their business. You're jealous of them. I'm not jealous of the guy. I don't even fucking care. I never fucking mix into the business. I never care what's happening behind the scenes with them. I never fucking care. I realize it's all fucking drama. I fucking go my way. I've seen it before. I never care. I never care. I just never do it. I say I never do it. I love to fucking go for my age woman. I never fucking say it's wrong. I never say it's right. I just fucking go for my age woman. I fucking feel better about it. I never fucking care. You have to realize that many people are causing drama around stupidity like that. Whereas many people are causing issues around the coronavirus and saying that many people are scamming money. I realize that many people are scamming money. I promise you. I promise you that other people are happier because of the coronavirus. I realize other people are fucking pinned down because of it. I realize other people are pinned down because they're working for money. I realize that the coronavirus is helping those people who are working for freedom. I realize those people who are working for money fucking hate it. I realize Greg Cardone fucking hates the coronavirus. I realize that guy's working for money. I realize the coronavirus is here to expose people about who is working for free and who is working for money. I realize those people who are working for free during the coronavirus of 2020, I promise you those people are going to really escalate during the phase. I promise you that no matter what financial crisis is going on around the world, I promise you that those people who are working for free will always escalate above the crisis and will become free anyway. I promise you that when you're working for free, no fucking crisis will make you unfree. I realize that you'll always be free during a crisis. When you work for free. You need to work for free, and you need to realize that I do this for free. I love to do this. I love my passion. I have music over here. I realize it's for pleasure. I make it for pleasure. I never even fucking make it to coach. I realize no matter what, I make it to coach. I realize I make music to coach also. I realize that at first, I realize making music is the pleasure part. I realize making it is the pleasure part. I realize teaching it, though, is the ultimate gain. I realize now I've learned something because Dean Graziosi has really shown me an idea. I picked up on it. I realized he put the pain and pleasure technique in there. I realized no matter what I searched up on the idea, I realized no matter what I went and I made a list. I made a list about my daily life. I have all this in my schedule. I realized I have to recognize what are the pleasure activities that I do in my daily life. I listen to music. I realize that's pleasure. I realize making music alone without teaching it is pleasure. I realize anything without teaching is pleasure. I realize talking to a woman without teaching is pleasure. I realize having a bath alone is just pleasure. I realize sleeping is just pleasure. I realize eating alone is just pleasure. I realize photo shooting myself and just photo shooting myself is pleasure. I just do it for pleasure. I realize no matter what, I realize this video is fucking pain. I realize this is fucking growth. I'm teaching you something here. I realize when I fucking make music and teach on the go how to fucking make music, I promise you, I fucking start to grow as a person. I start to learn something really. I realize I teach you something in it. I also, in my journal, I start to write. I start doing pain activity there. I start to fucking learn. I start to grow. I also can make doing, for example, photo shoots. I can teach how I photo shoot in nice. I can do that in my nice, beautiful life coaching videos, no problem. I realize no matter what, I can teach you how to sleep. I can teach you how to bath. I realize that's all pain. I realize anything to do with my quotes and content that is teaching you is always pain. I realize I also have to teach you how to build muscle. I have to teach you how to do everything. I realize that's all pain. I realize I grow in that. I fucking love it. 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 I love it. Although, when I just do it for pleasure, I realize I fucking hate it. I fucking hate this pleasure. I don't know what the fuck pleasure is, bro. I don't fucking know I don't know what fucking pleasure is, woman. I realize no matter what, I always swear in my videos. I swear because I love to swear. I swear with my eye in place. I swear because I love my eye. I realize no matter what, when I swear, I just love myself more. I swear because of that. I need you to realize that you just lift yourself from everything that's going on. I can go deep inside my body now. I can realize what's going on there. I realize that many people are looking at me and figuring me out. I realize, what the fuck are you figuring out? I need you to fucking go and grow. I need you to go and fucking grow. I need you to stop figuring people out. I need you to go and fucking grow and figure yourself out. I never need you to figure me out. I need you to go and fucking grow in life. I don't know what the fuck they're figuring out in life. I am nothing in terms of figuring out. I'm everything in terms of working for God.